Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these numbers. We're going to run the headlines. 300 million XRP IS Army is mounting. More assets have been frozen. We're going to get into it. XRP's money everywhere except you know where. And we're going to talk about Ripple corridors, ladies and gentlemen. And while the Bank of Russia and BRICS coalition announce a new global reserve currency, why is the IMF focusing on the web going down in a war? We got that, XLM and XRP price targets. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok or YouTube or Twitter or Facebook at the top of the screen for exclusive content. Make sure you do. 24,400 plus for Bitcoin right now. Ethereum, $1,900, almost $2,000. Looks like everything's pumping on Ethereum, waiting and hinging on that change that we're waiting for, the merge, as they call it, from proof of work to proof of stake. Cardano right now, 55 cents, and XRP is 37 cents. It is August 13th, 2022. Good morning, everybody. Let's get into it. $1.2 trillion market cap. iTrust Capital. Open an IRA with iTrust Capital. Grow your crypto tax-free, ladies and gentlemen. It's real. No monthly fees, no setup fees, no account setup fees, and hey, and make sure you ask them about staking, ladies and gentlemen, because they got that too. Yeah, and look, it's the best crypto IRA on the planet. Click the link below. You'll find out. According to data recently shared by popular crypto tracking service Whale Alert, over the past 2 days, nearly 300 million XRP tokens have been shifted between major crypto exchanges. I tell you, on-demand liquidity is what we're seeing here. And you know what that really means? On-demand liquidity really means use case. Right? It means it's being used for something. It's just not retail people sending it back and forth to one another, hoping that someone else will pay more for it. That's not what it is at all. This right here from 2018, but very significant when it comes to the SEC versus Ripple case. Shout out to Eleanor Tarrant for this one. This is a reminder of the inconsistency from the SEC, not only in the legal case, but even during Jay Clayton's tenure here and how he testified. He said, I believe we have taken a balanced regulatory approach that both fosters innovation and protects investors. For example, our staff meets regularly with entrepreneurs and market professionals interested in developing new and innovative investment products in compliance with the federal securities laws. Recently, Corporation Finances Director Bill Hinman outlined factors for participants to consider when evaluating whether a digital asset is a security. That really right there just kind of seals the deal, doesn't it? I mean, you know, they say it's his personal opinion, but yet here you have the head chairman at that time citing William Hinman as guidance from that division. But the SEC is not the only problem for crypto. Looky here. The USCBO confirming that at least $20 billion of the $124 billion in new revenue expected by a supercharged IRS will be coming from higher audits on low and middle income Americans. This will be in addition to existing audits on these income levels. You know, I say this because, you know, it's true. Clinton Donnelly is the foremost tax authority when it comes to cryptocurrency, and he offers full service accounting as well. But I'm going to tell you something right now. If you are not sure how to handle your crypto, this is your biggest signal right here that you better get yourself aligned with someone like Clinton and be able to make sure that you are above reproach when it comes to your taxes and how you're filing. Don't mess around. Don't give them a window to take your hard work in your portfolio. Right here, we see Indian authorities freeze crypto and exchanges, vault assets worth estimated $46.5 million. You know, this whole controlled demolition, you know, watershed moment for the market. If, you know, as Warren Buffett would say, you know, when the tide goes out, we're going to find out who's been swimming without any trunks, right? And that's kind of what's happening here. And the ones that don't make it will be gone, right? And the ones that do, either they're going to make it and fight back on their own, or they're going to get bought up in a merger acquisition by a larger financial institution. The Indian government is readying to introduce a new cryptocurrency legislation. Now, watching Indian government deal with cryptocurrency issues has been like a horrible tennis match. It's like watching me play tennis. It's bad. It's very bad. You know, fun, comedic, but it's very bad, right? And here, this is so disappointing because we see that as bad as that's been, they're closer to getting cryptocurrency legislation than the United States, right? How about that one? And right here on this local grocery store kiosk, there's crypto kiosk here, thanks to Wheezy. These tokens are all available, but guess what? XRP's not on there. You know, one has to wonder, is this aligning with the fact that maybe we get shut out and XRP's classified, redesignated, and then it's offered back to us after some kind of price adjustment? I don't know. Price discovery? Who knows? Who knows? But I know this, you can't get it on that kiosk. U.S. residents can't get it anywhere except Uphold and just a few select other places. But I firmly believe ProCoin News has it right, because the entire world outside the USA thinks XRP is not a security, including myself. Including ProCoin News, give them a follow. You know, Shensi Bank in Japan, as we reported, will now be offering XRP rewards to all of their bank's customers. I have to believe at the end of the day, as terrible and as arduous as a process this has been to watch happen with the SEC versus Ripple, that ultimately it will find its way where it needs to be so it does not harm its full-scale intended use for the entire world, including the USA. And Goldman Sachs knows what XRP is. It's a currency. That's what they said. Yeah, a currency right there. See that? XRP is a real-time settlement system exchange or remittance network that facilitates cross-border payments for financial institutions. My goodness, we could even call it a payment currency, the way Jim Rickards referred to a currency that could serve and grow eventually into a global reserve currency at some point. But there's a difference between a global reserve currency and a payment currency. And that's exactly how I see XRP poised in a phase of growth, that it first must be able to serve the world as a payment currency and then earn the right through that to really become a bridge currency for all the world. We'll keep an eye on it. This right here, you're going to want to see is Brooks Entwistle from Ripple confirming that there's 25 corridors running on-demand liquidity, and that's why it's growing so fast. But in a world with, 170, 180 currency pairs or something like that, do we got a long way to go, or is this just the 25 that we know about? Take a listen.
Been at this for 10 years now. It's hard to believe. We celebrate our 10th year anniversary in October. Wow! And so one of the OGs in the crypto space. But we soon after the company was founded, and of course the XRP ledger was started, we went on a journey to build a use case for Ripple, and spent a lot of years building Ripple Nets, which was and still is a fiat-based network across some 55 countries, 6 continents. But importantly, the vision was always, what could we do with that network once built, and put digital assets, cryptocurrency on the network? And that has happened extremely quickly over the last year, as our on-demand liquidity product has really lit up those rails. And now there are 25 different countries where ODL is available. A huge percentage of our volume now is in ODL. And so while we still have fiats in certain parts of the network, and it's important, especially with some crypto cold markets, we're very quickly adopting on that front.
It has happened extremely quickly over the last year.
And it really has. Shout out to Darren Moore for that original clip. Give him a follow. And right here is one of the quotes from either David Schwartz or Bob Way from Ripple, where it talks about a high ROI encourages competition from new market makers, which is consumptive of XRP, which means they want to buy it up and use it for the actual use case. Increasing competition in every corridor at once could be quite consumptive of XRP. It sure could, because when you really open up the idea of competition in every single corridor, and that XRP is going to give you the most cheapest, fastest settlement, secure, scalability, and the rest of it, you're going to bet that every competitor is going to want to buy up whatever's out there, because it'll be cheaper today than it ever will be tomorrow once you have that level of competition. That's the way I see that. Take a look at this, because speaking of competition, the Bank of Russia, which we have talked about before, but think of this for a moment. Really think of this. The technology is here today to really do the Bancor coin, as John Maynard Keynes suggested in 1944 at Bretton Woods, when the IMF was created, when the pound was taken down as the global reserve currency, and the US dollar was put in place as the global reserve currency. And now we see the Bank of Russia has announced in a report today that possibility of designing some digital rubles in a way that they could only be used for specific purposes. Sounds wholesale and back end. And let us not forget that the BRICS coalition, which is much bigger than just Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Now we know Turkey and other countries are joining, and I think it's up to 19 or 20 plus at this point. Now you're not talking about just a small group of countries here. You're talking about almost half the population of the world being in this coalition, ladies and gentlemen. Russia and China officially announced a new global reserve currency that they're putting together. And it may surprise some people, however, is that Russia and BRICS countries, including the ones that I've mentioned that are BRICS and beyond, are officially working their own new global reserve currency. Now tell me in this right here that you don't see a need for a bridge currency or a payment currency that can become known as a bridge currency for all the money and all of this happening? Well, you're talking about a coalition that has almost half of the population of the world here. This is not a small matter. The issue of creating an international reserve currency based on a basket of currencies of our countries is being worked out. And look, a lot of those countries in BRICS have great natural resources too. So don't be surprised if that currency basket doesn't also involve some commodities to go with it. And at the same time, the Digital Pound Foundation decides a couple hours ago to share this from the IMF. As the world's central banks rush to develop digital currencies, almost all of the research and trial focuses on internet-based technology. But what will happen when the web goes down in a war or a natural disaster? At the same time, we have half the world working for a new reserve currency, clearly to obfuscate the dollar and crash it in default, right? Because that's exactly what would happen when you have half the population move away from something like that. Think of that for a moment. The real implications. Well, what they talk about here is really like NFC technology, which has been around for a while, and then other spin-offs of that would allow for offline payments, such as piggybacks on a text-based non-internet system with mobile phones known as feature phones. They talk about the price of these things and what it would cost for them to use such technology and however. But this is the NFC connections they're talking about, which is near field communication, if you're not familiar. Some required intermediary devices such as mobile devices, online connections to fully settle transactions, but that is to keep device costs down and eliminate the need for internal battery power, which can be rather expensive. But this has all been worked on since back in the 90s. A lot of this technology was dumped, they said, because it just never really took. Now, we do know that it has been made possible. How scalable it is, I don't know. But we do know that XRP has been designed. There has been an application or some kind of program written to where there can be off-chain payments made for that. We saw soda machine and a soda pop bought offline off the internet that way. Remember that? I do. You know, it's interesting to understand these things, and that, you know, understanding that Ripple is also a member of the Digital Pound Foundation as they highlight the IMF's concern about the internet being shut down due to a war or natural disaster. You know, with all of this, and I've played this clip before, but listen to this clip now, understanding that BRICS is in fact designing a new global reserve currency for their coalition, for half the world. What is it that Naveen Gupta is telling us here, that there's going to be a step change moment with the network, the XRP Ledger Network and RippleNet, that will create critical mass moment and escape velocity, as he says, when he comes back at the end of this year or slightly after into next year, let's call it 4 to 8 months, when we could see this escape velocity take place on the network. Could it have something to do with what we're understanding here about a new reserve currency? I don't know. But I tell you this, there is a reason the IMF is asking that question. There is a reason that the Digital Pound Foundation, with Ripple as a partner, is sharing that question. There is a true fact that the coalition BRICS and Russia and China are in fact developing a global reserve currency. Are these things mutually exclusive? I don't know. But I find them to be very, very interesting that they're all being mentioned and talked about right now. And I believe it causes me to want to pay attention to see if I can get more information going forward to find out if these things in fact do become connected.
Last question is, I guess it's June 2022. If we speak again, let's say at the end of the calendar year or the early next year, what will have changed for you?
So for us, the scale would have continued, right? So in terms of things that we talked about, 8x growth, 15 billion, you would see a much bigger number at the end of the year because we are growing very, very fast. You would find a lot more nodes on the network. And what I want to say is normally though the growth on the nodes on the network may be incremental, but their effect is step change because after a while you achieve critical mass or escape velocity, and then it essentially moves together very, very quickly, right? So both are these two things that I'm very excited about. And then when we should be able to talk, I should be able to cite examples and take you through how that journey has been.
Boy, I tell you, I can't wait to hear what those examples are going to be of escape of velocity, critical mass, and step change to the network and the growth of nodes on that network and what it will create for the XRP token, the Ledger and RippleNet and beyond, and on-demand liquidity. It just continues to grow. Now let's take a look at this from Eggrag Crypto. XLM update. If BTC and ETH did it, then why can't XLM hit the 1.618? That fib is a pretty important fib, is confluencing with the cup and handle targets. If XLM hits these targets, $8 to $32, then XRP will be priced around $24 to $96, since XLM price correlation is usually about 30 to 35% that of XRP price. You can see the couple handle right here of the XLM to US dollar, right? And where those targets may take us. Now, taking a look here to the point of XRP in an XRP chart, he says the cup and handle chart still in formation. If we dig deep into the handle structure, he's going to make a great point here, that's why I'm reading it to you. Then the middle of the handle is playing a pivotal role at 40 cents. Flipping into support is bullish and might propel price for a slingshot to $1. Also, its confluence with the 0.618. Now, if we go into this and look at this, you can see a $22 price target here if all of this lines up and shoots off of this cup and handle here that we're in this channel, right? But then going further here, he describes and shows this a possible in the near term. If we get above these lines and above that 40-cent target, we could be on our way to push towards $1. What I love about this is this comment down here. Hey, quick comment. This is not a cup and handle formation, says Leb Crypto. It's been invalidated quite a while ago. For it to be validated cup and handle, you need two things: a shallow retracement on the handle, not more than 1/3 of the cup, a shorter handle. Hope this helps your TA journey. But Egrad Crypto makes a great point here. He says, I totally agree with you in the concept as per the strict rules of the cup and handle. It should look like the chart below, which is this example right here. But thinking out of the box and considering market manipulation, we still believe the formation might continue to play with a twisted format. You know, the market manipulation is such a key point. And I'll tell you another great point too, is means we don't have price discovery. If we don't have true price discovery on this asset and we do have price market manipulation, then everything is in play. Everything is very much in play. So we got to keep an open mind about where this stuff goes. I appreciate all their efforts and all their insights. It's not financial advice from me or anyone else, but I tell you, I wouldn't chase any of those numbers away from XLM or XRP. I could guarantee you that much, and I'd be happy to see it, as I know you guys would too. Head on a swivel. This is Crypto You Never Know. I'll catch all of you on the next one.